What's good, Wizards fans? It's your host, the real Ed Oliver. Did the Washington Wizards get gifted a win by all the Blazers' missed layups? Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
So I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to PrizePicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use code all lowercase LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. So I meant to say Christmas gifted, but I will not take away from the Wizards win. The Wizards get a dub. We don't get to say this a lot. The Wizards are now 5-22. They beat the Portland Trailblazers in Portland 118-117 last night. My guy Brandon and myself. Shout out to Brandon. Brandon could not make it tonight, but he definitely will be on the next episode. I said the Wizards are going to win. I said the Wizards and the Commanders were going to win. So we got one more to go. I know some people probably don't want the Commanders to win because of draft capital, but staying with the Wizards. I said the Wizards were going to win last night. I called it. The Blazers are 7-26, or they're 7-20. The Wizards are 5-22, so not far off. But the Wizards, they squeaked away with a win, and they almost did the typical Wes Unseld Jr. of having a lead of 18 points. The Wizards were up by, guess what, 18 points. The Blazers never led in the game. The largest lead for the Wizards was 18 points, and they almost did a Wes Unseld Jr. special of losing a 15-plus point lead or 18-plus point lead tonight. So I'm going to go over the last couple seconds now. I do want to say great job by Bilal on the defensive last play of the game against Jeremy Grant. That was a great play. Luckily, they did not give the ball to Anthony Simons. Anthony Simons was hot with 41 points. Tyus Jones played his butt off. Kuzma had a good scoring game. Denny had a huge putback. We're going to talk about the just jumping up in the air and throwing the ball away. Denny did that. I was not happy about that at all, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later. I see somebody in the comments already commented about that, but I thought Denny overall had a solid game. But I do want to go over that last sequence of events. DeAndre Ayton missed a couple layups. They missed a free throw, and DeAndre Ayton got the rebound, passed it out to Anthony Simons, and Anthony Simons misses a layup. Gafford fouled out. DeAndre Ayton got an offensive rebound and gave it up to Anthony Simons. He goes and misses a layup. I talked about that. So we got very fortunate now. We had the inbounds play. That was terrible. We have all under Wes Unseld Jr. We just have not been good with inbounds plays, and they challenged it because Tybull got the steal. Originally, they called it a foul. We almost got away with that too, but they challenged and they got the ball back there. Jeremy Grant, they did call an offensive foul on him when he pushed off. That was a good call by the ref. Gafford fouled out. Kuzma shot a fadeaway jumper with 5 seconds left on the shot clock, and I thought he shot it a little too early. We were up 116-114. I thought that was very unnecessary. He shot a fadeaway jumper. They come down and they score. That's when Gafford fouled out. Kuzma missed a free throw down the stretch. Kispert missed the putback, and then Kuzma gets the ball back. He gets fouled, and then he misses the first free throw. So they still had an opportunity to tie the game. So there were many, many times where we could have pulled away, but we gave them multiple chances. Offensive rebounds were a tale of the tape. I don't want to sound too negative just talking about all the stuff that we gave up on the missed layups that the Blazers had, but you got to be realistic and talk about what happened in the game. The Blazers had 20 offensive rebounds. They had 7 offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter alone. We only had 7 offensive rebounds. So we got dominated on the glass towards the end of the game. Just a lot of missed layups by the Blazers that we certainly got away with. So, offensive rebounding in general has been a huge detriment to the Wizards overall this season. The Blazers had 51 boards and the Wizards had 37 boards. So we got out-rebounded by 14. And we missed a lot of free throws, 22 for 32 from the free throw line, 68% from the free throw line. So we did our best to give this game away, but overall, guys stepped up. Tyus has been on a tear, man. He's on a heater right now. He's playing really good basketball. Ever since he scored that triple-double, which wasn't too many games ago, but now he really is hot. He's found his stride. He's really found his offensive stride. Not going to say confidence, but I think he's really, really comfortable now with the Wizards and his teammates in general. The chemistry is going. He's hot, knocking down threes. The float game is going. Like, Tyus is playing really, really, really good basketball right now. Tyus Jones ended up with 24 points, 3 assists, 3 boards, 5 for 7 from the 3-point line. He was hot tonight in Portland. And Kuzma was scoring a lot tonight too, with 32 points, 8 boards, and got to the basket really well. So definitely a roller coaster ride down the stretch for sure. And I already talked about how Denny had that huge putback, so he redeemed himself a little bit after that jump turnover, but he had a huge putback down the stretch too. That was huge. And then the flopping penalty was insane to me. That was just ridiculous. That flopping penalty they called on Jordan Poole, they called a flopping penalty / technical where the Blazers got a free throw. That was ridiculous, where the score went to 112 to 111. So there was a lot of things that happened in that last really 5 minutes of the game that it was just a roller coaster ride, that last 5 minutes of the game. So that flopping penalty was ridiculous to me. It was Simons who did a step back or a pull back behind the back, step back, and he kind of forced contact into Jordan Poole. The Jordan Poole had to fall down, no, but I didn't think that was a flop. We've seen more egregious flops where guys flail their heads back and fall down. Like Jordan Poole actually kind of fell down like he was taking a charge. So I thought that was a ridiculous call as well down the stretch. So those are some things that definitely stood out to me. But the Wizards, they weathered the storm. They played hard. They played confident down the stretch, and they finished the game. Sometimes wins are not going to be pretty. Sometimes there's going to be some ugly wins. Gafford fouled out. I thought Gafford played with some good effort tonight against DeAndre Ayton, where he played hard. Gafford ended up with 16 points and 8 boards, 6 fouls, 7 for 10 from the field as well. Let me see how many blocks that Gafford ended up. Gafford had 6 blocks. So this is the Gafford that I want to see, and this is the way that Gafford can play every night. I already said that. How many boards did he end up with? Gafford ended up with 8 rebounds. I say nothing less than 8 rebounds for Daniel Gafford. That's what he should have. He should have, every night should be no less than 8 rebounds. So we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the other factors in the game. Corey Kispert, I thought he played pretty well, and Bilal didn't score much, but he was impactful for sure in different ways. So we're going to get to a little bit more about the game, but before we do that, today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Shout out to BetterHelp in the holidays. Whether or not your family gives gifts during the holidays, you get to define how you give to yourself. And the holidays are a great time to do that. So whether it's by starting therapy, going easier on yourself during the tough moments, or treating yourself to a day of complete rest, remember to give yourself some love this holiday season. We know the holiday season is a lot. You got to go out and get gifts, make a lot of people happy, and going to the malls, a lot of traffic and whatnot. The holidays are definitely tough. It's not the best time for everybody, but you try to do your best and enjoy it and get some rest with some days, a couple of days, day or two off for the holidays. And therapy can certainly help if you're going through tough times during the holidays and missing loved ones. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. In the season of giving, give yourself what you need with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. All right, so also the Wizards, they do play a back-to-back. They want to say they play again. So they do play again tomorrow night against the Warriors in the Bay Area in Golden State. Guess who? Jordan Poole goes back to Golden State, but you know who is suspended, if I'm not mistaken. And Draymond Green, I think he should be suspended multiple games. The Warriors just beat the Celtics 132 to 126 in overtime. Draymond Green is suspended indefinitely. And I don't think they've announced how many games he's been suspended just yet. But if it were up to me, I would suspend Draymond for like 15 to 20 games. I mean, this is how many times? I don't want to spend too much time on Draymond Green, but this is like the 10th, 20th time that he struck somebody in the face or hit somebody in the chest or hit somebody in the groin area. Like, he needs to be suspended at least 20 games if it were up to me. But Jordan Poole will be going back to Golden State for the first time. So this will be a fun game. I'm intrigued to see how he plays. The Wizards are 11.5 dogs in the game, 11.5 underdogs. Shout out to FanDuel and PrizePicks. I did pick DeAndre Ayton to go over 29.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I hate to pick against this, but any big man, we already talked about this, any big man against the Wizards, you got to take the over on their double, over on their PRA, points, rebounds, and assists. You always got to do that and smash that. You'll get a lot of money if you do that every night, every center against the Wizards, for sure. All right, so Denny, I thought he overall He had a nice take to the basket, got an and one, but you know the one of the last plays did leave a bad taste in my mouth. But he the turnover, but he did end up with 13 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. So he did other things. 0 for 1 from the 3-point line. Didn't shoot a lot of threes, but I see where he is that connector. He's a guy that gets guys open. Had a nice pass to Gaffer, where Gaffer finished in the first half. Nice take getting downhill, getting the and one. So Denny's at his best when he's the connector, feeding guys, getting guys open. That's where he thrives at. Corey Kispert with 9 points, 2 for 6 from the 3-point line, 3 for 8, had an and one as well. Like where the way he took it to the basket. Gallinari hit a big 3 down the stretch in the third quarter, so he contributed in some way. Mike Muscala with 14 minutes, 5 points as well. And Bilal, man, just a huge stop down the stretch against Jeremy Grant without fouling, on the road. You know how difficult that is to get a stop, especially against Jeremy Grant, a guy who can get to the basket, a DMV guy, Jeremy Grant from PG County. You know how hard it is to stop Jeremy Grant when he gets downhill. He is a legitimate scorer in the NBA. So for Bilal to do that as a rookie, Bilal didn't have his best offensive game. He had more fouls than points, 5 fouls and 2 points. 0 for 0 from the 3-point line, 18 minutes, 1 for 1 from the field. But, he found a way to be impactful and contribute in this game. Jared Belly didn't play. Ryan Rollins didn't play. Eugene did not play. Pat Baldwin did not play. So just, taking a look at some of the guys that did not play. And Johnny Davis continues to be out with a calf strain. Don't know when Johnny Davis is going to be back, but I'm intrigued to see when he comes back. But shout out to Bilal for getting that stop, man. That was a huge stop by Bilal Coulibaly without fouling, walling up, playing great defense, just getting a stop. That's huge, man. That is huge because we've seen many times before where guys come down and hit game winners. Like I said, I was surprised that the Blazers did not give the ball to Anthony Simons down the stretch. But overall, they forced turnovers. That was a huge thing for the Wizards. Last night, Brandon and myself, we talked about that, where the Blazers, they are 27th in the league in turnovers. They turn the ball over a lot. And the Wizards took advantage of that. The Blazers had 16 turnovers. The Wizards had 23 fast break points. So a lot of those turnovers leaded to points for the Washington Wizards. They took advantage of that for sure. So that was a good thing for the Wizards. 12 for 30 from the 3-point line, 40% from the 3-point line. The Blazers shot 46% from the 3-point line. So we did not defend the 3-point line well at all. And a lot of that came from Anthony Simons. But Kuzma playing well like that. That's what we need from him every single night. Simons just he was 7 for 14 from the 3-point line. Anthony Simons hit 8 threes last year in DC when the Wizards had a big lead against the Blazers. So, but that's how you finish games. Sometimes it's not going to be pretty, but crashing on the boards, the Wizards, they crash on the boards at the end too. Like when Kuzma missed his free throw, Kispert came in. That was a huge putback. Denny had a huge putback down the stretch. So, yes, they gave up a bunch of offensive boards, but they made some big plays when they needed to make big plays. The Wizards did and stepped up, and that's a big reason why they won this game. So we're going to look at the preview and then get to comments here. Just looking at the Warriors. Let me pull up some numbers here. The Warriors, so we can do a quick preview for the game tomorrow night. I'm not sure if we're going to be recapping the game tomorrow night. It is Friday night, so we'll see. Maybe we do a quick 10-minute recap or something like that. We know the holidays are coming up, Christmas on Monday. But just looking at the Warriors right now, of course, they are 4th in 3-pointers attempted. Obviously, with Steph and Clay, they get up a lot of threes. So you gotta defend the 3-point line. Total rebounding, they're 1st in the league. Offensive rebounding, they're 1st in the league. Kevon Looney contributes to that a lot. They're 28th in blocks. So they don't block a lot of shots. They don't really defend the paint well. A lot of bigs score against them. Kevon Looney, he's an undersized big. They're 11th in points scored, so they put up a lot of points. Steph just had 30 last night in a win against the Boston Celtics. Looking at their defensive rating, they're 18th. Pace, they're 14th. Chris Paul, we traded Chris Paul. Chris Paul was a Wizard for a couple of minutes. We traded him for Jordan Poole. So, this will be the first time we'll be seeing the Wizards playing against Chris Paul as well. But yeah, those are some things, and they're 26th in turnovers too. The Blazers were a terrible team with turnovers. The Warriors, they turn the ball over a lot too. So this is an opportunity for us to get steals, deflections, turn those into fast break points. So got to be active hand, got to have active hands. Bilal out there, active hands. Tyus with active hands for sure. And obviously you got to know where Steph is at all times. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Wiggins, Kuminga is super athletic. But I think the paint, you can get to the paint and you can score, because Kevon Looney, he's not a guy that's going to block a lot of shots or really, stop and dominate the paint at all. So I think this is a game where they can get downhill and get to the paint. Another game for Kuzma where I think he can get downhill and score. And then Jordan Poole, he's got to lock in. I know it's going to be an emotional game coming back to Golden State, but stay focused too. So that's going to be a big thing for me with that. And then ball movement, obviously, and making free throws and rebounding. This is a game where I know the Warriors are first in total rebounding, but this is a game where we got to rebound. We cannot let them get second chance opportunities, because if you give Steph Curry another chance to shoot another threes, anything with Klay Thompson, they're going to knock it down 8 times out of 10 for sure. So, all right, but we're going to get a quick word in here from PrizePicks, and then we're going to get to some comments here. I know you guys have a lot to say. We got 61 people in the chat. Happy holidays to everybody. Almost Christmas, but we're going to get to a quick word from PrizePicks here. PrizePicks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. It is the easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. It's just you against the numbers instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks you pick more than or less than. On 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. With basketball season here, you can now pick combo projections across football and basketball from the Specials League, a league created specifically for combo projections that includes 2 or more players from different sports or leagues. For example, LeBron James plus Travis Kelce at a 10.5 combo of 3-pointers made plus receptions. Want to play alongside some of PrizePicks' favorite players like rapper Meek Mill and comedian Andrew Schultz? You can now find community plays under the promos tab of the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in the PrizePicks community each week. So like I said, DeAndre Ayton over 29.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I picked that. He ended up and he smashed that with 23 points and 16 rebounds. So he smashed that pretty easily. Looking at tomorrow night, it's going to be kind of tough for me, but if I had to pick somebody, I'd probably take Andrew Wiggins over points. That's something I'm looking at. And Steph, is like, you can't really go wrong with his over on his points. And I'd probably take a look at Kuzma. I don't think they can guard. I don't think anybody on the Warriors right now can really guard Kuzma. Looking at this team, Andrew Wiggins, that's a good matchup. But honestly, I don't think they're going to stop him. And then Jordan Poole, somebody to look at. If it's more or less is at 18.5 points, I think he's going to be. He ended up with 13 points. I don't like wagering on Jordan Poole because he's so inconsistent. You just don't know what he's going to do. But I think with the narrative and revenge game, it's kind of like you got to take the more than or less than on Jordan Poole's points. If it's at 18.5, if it's at like 20.5 or something like that, I'd probably stay away from it, honestly. But just want to shout out to PrizePicks. Make sure you guys use their promo code for a 100% deposit match. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. All right, so let's lock into these comments here. 35 comments. Shout out to Dean Pompey. He says, we're going to find a way to throw this game. It was obvious. So this is a comment before the game ended. This was at 12:30 a.m. Dean, yes, I know we're programmed to think that way. We've seen it. I mean, I don't see how you can't think that way because we've seen it. They led the league last year in 15-plus leads blown under Wes Unseld Jr. Remember the Clippers loss where they're up by 35. They found a way to lose that game. And it certainly looked that way. If it wasn't for a couple of missed layups by Ayton literally missed 2 layups in a row. Simons came down to miss a layup. So I don't want to take away from the Wizards win, but they were fortunate. It was almost like a Christmas gift for this game for sure. Michael O says, I hate the Wizards. They literally try and lose games. They do. It's a rebuilding season. They're trying to get the best pick in the draft. That's just what it is. They're trying to get the best lottery chances, the best pick in the draft, and they are trying to lose games. They just are. It is what it is. Michael says no rebounding adjustment. Simons looks like he does. Simons is a darn good player though. He did this to us last year. Simons is a darn good player. He's a darn good player. He's a budding star. If he was healthy this year, I think if he played like this every game, of course, if he put up 41 points, he was clearly be an all-star. But Anthony Simons is a darn good player. Scoot Henderson, I was a big Scoot Henderson fan coming into the draft. I still am a big fan of Scoot Henderson's game, but his confidence, honestly, needs to work on that. His in-between game has to work on that. 3-point shot has to work on that. 4 points for him, 0 for 5 from the field for Scoot Henderson is pretty disappointing for the second pick of the draft. I think he's super, super talented, so he's got a long way to go. I think he'll be fine, but that's just my observation, just looking at some of the other guys on the Portland Trailblazers. But Simons is a darn good player. DMV for life says Denny and West were awful tonight. No way we blew 18-point lead and almost lost. I wouldn't go as far to say Denny was awful, but that pass was very disappointing, very frustrating. And you can see Kuzma just put his hands up in the air like, Denny, we talk about his left hand at nauseum. Every season we talk about his left hand. He talks about his left hand himself. Of course, that's where he was going. He's going left. And he jumps into the air and throws the ball behind him. Just like, what's going on, man? What's going on? But he had a nice and one going to guess where? To the right. To the right. He had a nice and one earlier. And he goes to the left and he jumps in the air blindfolded basically and just throws the ball in the air. They go down and make a layup. The Blazers go down and make a layup. So, yes, I was very, very disappointed that. That made me pretty upset. But then he did redeem himself a little bit with the putback. Deshaun, a lot of people are talking about the same situation, same play. Deshaun said, Denny almost sold the game. We got outcoached again. I can't argue about about West getting outcoached, but they found a way to win. Bliss Nation says Tyus is way better than Monte for us. Yes, he is. I think he is better than Monte. He is similar to Monte in a sense as far as the assist to turnover ratio. They're not super explosive, but Tyus Jones is a better version of Monte Morris. This is what I said before the season started. A lot of people are like, oh, we want Tyus to come off the bench and let Jordan Poole start as the point guard. I disagree with that a lot. I still disagree with that. And when Tyus plays like that, it's like, okay, yeah, this guy, Tyus given a chance and an opportunity like he is right now, he shows that he can be more than just a six-man or a backup point guard. I think on a championship team, obviously he's going to be behind John Morant like he was before, but I think he's a good starter. I think you can win with Tyus as your starting point guard. I think you really can. And he played well tonight. Knocked down a bunch of threes, aggressive, getting to the basket, the float game, floater was going for him. Tyus is a good player. He is a legitimate. I think he's a solid starting point guard in this league. But I think if he was the best backup point guard last year, and he's showing that he's a good starting point guard. Michael says that crossover move was disgusting by Denny, and he threw the ball away. At what point do we say he hasn't or isn't going to develop? Your job is to hoop, and you're not improving? Shaking my head. Yeah, I already commented on that. So a lot of people are commenting and saying that same thing. So yeah, I talked about that earlier. Perfect Fighter says Denny Avdia, the offensive rebound put back. I talked about that too. See, that was a huge play by him. Huge play by Denny down the stretch. Isra T says sloppy floppy Jordan fell to the pool once again and almost cost the game with his antics. I disagree with that call. I thought it was a bogus call in my opinion. But I know what they're trying to do in the league right now. They're trying to call that. They're trying to call flops and whatnot. I thought that was a terrible call. I really did. I didn't think it was a flop. I didn't think it was like a Vlade Divac type of flop, or a LeBron type of. We've seen LeBron flop way worse than that and be way more theatrical than what Jordan Poole did. So I disagree with that call. I thought that was a bogus call. For them to call a flopping technical and give them an extra point, a free throw, that was egregious and ridiculous, in my opinion, for sure. Lamar Odom says that boy Kuz woke us up with those end of the game antics. I'll tell you that. Yeah, he frustrated me down the stretch with that fadeaway jumper and then the free throw that he missed. But Kuzma put up 32 points, so all is good after that. Diablo is commenting some Kings trade proposals here. Kuzma for he says we'll probably talk about this next episode. He says Kyle Kuzma, Pat Baldwin Jr. to the Kings, and the Wizards receive Harrison Barnes, Davion Mitchell, Chris Duarte, Kessler Edwards in the 2028 first-round pick. We know the Kings love Kyle Kuzma. They've wanted to trade for Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma thought he was going to be traded to the Kings, so that's something that could happen. 2028 first-round pick. Not great, to be honest, but at least it's a first-round pick. And I do like Chris Duarte a lot. I've always liked Chris. I like Chris Duarte a lot coming out of Oregon. I wanted to draft Chris Duarte coming out. I like Chris Duarte a lot. All right. Yanni Halavi says Denny was 4 assists away from a triple-double. Y'all haters, please trade him to a normal friend. We're not going to get into this tonight. We're just not going to do that tonight. But he was close to a triple-double. But you got to be objective when people make mistakes. But I like the way he played. Like I said, I love the putback. I love the putback he made. So that's where I'm gonna leave it at that. But you gotta be objective for sure. And it was just one bad play. It was one bad play. So I'm not harping on him too much. But overall, I thought he had a good game. But he's just gotta be smarter than that. He's got to be smarter than that for sure. This will probably be the last one. Drew says, "Coos!" Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Trust the process. You all wanted to rebuild. This is what a rebuild looks like. We are 3 players away from having a good team. Trading away good and average players for rookies is not the way. Keeping Kuz. I know a lot of people want to keep Kuz. A lot of people want to trade him. Just the nature of the business. It's a rebuild, so guys are going to be here to be traded and for draft capital and rebuilding. So it's an overhaul. A lot of guys are not going to be here past the deadline. I'll just tell you that, and I think we all know that. Would I like to see Kuz to stay? Sure, I would love to see him stay. I think he's a great person, a good leader, good scorer. But if they feel the need that they need to trade him for a 2025 first round pick, or we get a lottery pick or something like that from a team that is trying to make a playoff push, then it's like hard to really turn that down. There's like no way you can turn that down. It's like you got to take it. But I love the way that Kyle Kuzma's playing as of late. I love the way that Tyus is playing. Tyus is a guy that most likely is going to get traded. DeLon Wright, all these guys most likely going to be traded. So the only person that really is not that is probably a safe at the most part is Bilal, if I had to talk about anybody. So it's just what it is when you see a rebuild. A lot of new faces, a lot of transactions, and a lot of moves will be made at the trade deadline, in my opinion. All right, so last one here. Dean Pape says, "Yeah, if Aiden knows how to hit a layup, then the Blazers win." Yeah, that I said that too, but I'm not going to be. I'm not going to rain on the parade. I'm going to celebrate a win and take them. We don't get a lot of these. We don't get a lot of these at all. So you got to celebrate when you get them. You got to take advantage of them. You got to cherish the few Wizards wins. And the over under now for the Wizards wins on the season are probably 10. So it's going to be hard to see them to get to 10. But you got to. Alex and Adelaide said, "What Christmas wish would you give the Wizards if you were Santa?" I'm not gonna say Cole, but a gift. I mean, these guys are millionaires, so I probably wouldn't give them a darn thing, to be honest. But the gift that I'm giving is my time. Staying up at 10 o'clock watching these games and watching them get blown out, waving the white flag. That is the gift. And buying tickets as well. That is my gift. That is my gift to the Washington Wizards. My time, money, and merchandise, because you see all this Wizards gear that I bought over time, and buying tickets going down to Gallery Place for the last couple of times that they will be in Gallery Place for sure. So that is my gift to the Washington Wizards. Shout out to you, Alex and Adelaide. Merry early Christmas to you and happy holidays, of course. Let's see here. Any more comments? Yoni says has nothing to do with objective or not. Numbers don't lie. Any made a mistake happens. Yeah, that's true. People make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. People miss layups. They make turnovers. But you got to talk about it. And I gave him praise when he made put back as well. So you got to be honest and objective. You cannot jump in the air and turn around and throw the ball away. You just can't do it. But I love the putback. I love the 10 boards. I love the double-double for Danny. I love it. I love that too. Some things I love and some things I don't. So we're going to start off here. Good win for the Wizards, beating a team that is similar to them at 7-26. Big game. I'm not going to say a big game, but an interesting, intriguing game. Merry Christmas to you, Rome. Intriguing game tomorrow night against the Warriors. Jordan Poole coming back. Could be a revenge game. So definitely going to be watching the game tomorrow night. Not sure if we will be recapping, but shout out to my guy, Brandon. Hopefully, we get to see him. We get to come back tomorrow night or on Sunday night. We'll see. Shout out to you, Yoni. Merry Christmas to you as well. Happy holidays. Happy holidays to everybody out there if I don't see you guys again before Monday, before Christmas. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit the notification bell as well. Hit that like button. Hell to the Wizards. Peace.